painting of poverty, put a woman's face. And we cannot get away from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Madhu. I must say that was also a fascinating exposition of what you did in the ground. We will now quickly switch on to our next speaker, but Mrs. Madhu was finding it difficult to remember our name, which is rather long. So I'll just give you a small story before I introduce the next speaker. We were in Delhi about 2 years back doing a dialogue with our Indian counterparts. And everywhere we went, our name was very popular. And the reason it became popular, we found out that Bips is also the nickname of Bipasa Basu. So that's the way to remember us in some ways. Our next speaker is Professor Firdausi Begum. And when Mrs. Madhu very rightly told us that Bangladesh is guilty of not mainstreaming gender in our climate change discourse and negotiations. For my own personal experience of international engagements, I'll tell you that the global negotiations are equally guilty of not mainstreaming gender in the discourse. And so Professor Firdausi Begum, who is the founder, executive director of Firdausi Development of Biotechnology and Environment Conservation Center from 1998 till this date, has made a tremendous contribution in trying to bring attention to the gender issues in international negotiations. Her contributions in 2009, UNFCCC climate change meeting was on gender issues. Disability, rent, and agriculture, which was internationally appreciated. She also raised the disability issue for the first time at UNFCCC Bonn meeting in June 2009, which was later included in the final version of the Cancun text. So, with her background and experience, we now would like to listen to you, madam.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. First of all, I just please forgive me that my voice is not well because my son had an accident that was 26th night in front of Prime Minister office. He's a student of economics in Dhaka University, third year. Fazil Firdausi, he is a global youth leader. He was in ICU, Apollo Hospital. Just yesterday, we bring him and brought him. So I was in hospital there in night and hospital, and my slide was not so much. Yesterday I got her phone and then I prepared it today quickly, and the power disruption, I couldn't meet properly. So just before I start, I would like to thank all of you, and especially the Beefs Authority and General Manager. You remember me? I met you several times.
I met you several times.
In meetings. And I am also my elder sister, my colleague, and my elder sister, and we are from the same area, Noakhali, Greater Noakhali. And my Nananbari, grandmother's house, is very near to what she described here. And my area is Dokipur, it is also near to Megna. They're also from, very far from very near from the coastal area. And I have been several, I have the, what's called the experience to work in the coastal area like Goya, Shimnagar, Paigacha, and also in drought area and in farm area, and this average. I just visited this average on 25th, and what's happened there, if you don't see, you can imagine what is going on there. You have to see it, what is going on in Australia, Vista, Farrakhan. I have seen everything there, every universe there. I have been visited 15 days there, and then my son was an accident, had an accident. What has the model very senior choreographists? There are the livelihood and other things. Everything it is my perception, because I am a mother, gender is not equally treated in all aspects of life. What I have in my experience in the last 50 years now, I am running 50 years. And whenever in my family, I always enjoyed the same opportunity like my brother. But when I was in university, I was in school, I was in the society, I found that there is a discrimination. And I wrote in a book what someone said that about the equal share of our land. This is the empowerment of women. This is the empowerment. But we always, when আমরা যখন সম্পত্তির কথা বলি তখন আমরা ইসলাম হয়ে যাই, আর যখন সম্পত্তি ছাড়া সব কিছুতে কিন্তু আমরা ঠিক থাকি। এটার উপরে আমার একটা বই আছে, বাংলাদেশের একটা অ্যাওয়ার্ড পাওয়া বই, যা আমি when I attended Bali, and before that NWSST, I had a lot of opportunity to have the meeting with the different countries. I have seen that in the podium there is a lot of men, no women. I can remember 2000, this first time World Science Conference in Hungary. As a scientist, I was there, representing women in science. And the first day we found that there is nobody in the dais a women. We all women then quit the inaugural session. And then they asked the now IUCN, who is the IUCN head? Mr. and Mrs. Now, the head of the IUCN. She was working in the NGO. Then they asked her to, come to the diet. Then all women entered. It is in Hungary, in Budapest. So in our country, while the climate change negotiation started after Bali, no women was included in the negotiation team. Then I applied for the negotiation team to include my name in 2009. But they gave me, everybody in the negotiation team, they are going with the DFID money, that is a multilateral trust fund money. But they give me a condition that you have to have your own money. You have to write to Rachel that you have to have your own money, then you can. And I'm only a single woman. I joined that 2009 one meeting with my own expenses. And there I found a lot of women who were working in the negotiation team. After I will just give a brief history of how these women entered in the negotiation process. Then I found a various group of people working, women, people working in the negotiation team. In some countries, like Venezuela, they have only 2 women in the negotiation team. But we have 25 people in the negotiation team without any women in the negotiation. We have 55 Cancun, Copenhagen member. We have 100, only 3 women there. But own expenses. No expenses. Government official only took the expenses from the government. So, what happened in Bali? In Bali, there is a meeting, and the women get together. Then they, had a meeting that they will start one forum called Global Gender Climate Change Alliance, GGCA. And the Finland government announced there, and European, Germany and Denmark, they also announced they would put money for that. And then started the GGCA journey, women negotiator, women participation. But the negotiator is less. The NGO forum, GGCA is the non-government forum. They can't enter the negotiation. In negotiation process, you have to have a party. Because without this, you cannot. You have to have a red badge, party badge. Then you can enter the negotiation process. There is 2 documents for negotiation. You know that one is AWLC, one is Another one is Kyoto Protocol, 2 negotiation documents. There is a lot of chapters there. I will go for that. And let's just read the background. And then when I started that 2009 journey, I found that I have already told that many of the countries have only the women negotiation, like Cook Island, like Venezuela. They don't have the other man negotiator. So they can raise their issues very well. And then European Union impose something, visually or silently, that you have to have the negotiator as women negotiator, and they are very much pro-gender. When we work together, we found that especially the Iceland, Finland, and in Germany, and in Denmark, Norway, they're very much pro-gender, and UK, also USA. We also got the support from all these countries. So before I start, please forgive me. I just correct some figures and just this is the background. All over the world, climate change has a gender differentiated impact. This emphasizes that all aspects of climate change response, adaptation, mitigation, policy development, decision making must always include gender perspective. With climate change, access to basic need and natural resources becomes a big challenge, and natural disaster reinforce traditional gender roles, which Bhasna Modu tells in her earlier speech, that you are mother, you bring the water, you are mother, you bring the agriculture seeds, you preserve the seeds, you are mother, you give the food security to your children and your family. So that needs to be addressed equally, men and women. But when we build a shelter house, we don't think about how can women enjoy the children. We don't think about our dress code also in different culture, in different region. So that things we raise when we start negotiation. Gender mainstream is not simply about the paying lip service to equality between men and women by adding women participation to existing strategies and programs related to climate change. Rather, it seeks to transform unequal social and institutional structure to realize the full creative and productive potential of women to reduce vulnerability and enhance what I have said, that vulnerability. Women are the most vulnerable in respect to climate change. Then we started in all negotiation sub-chapter, it has to be include the gender in every chapter. I have the document that there is a 28 reference now in different chapters about the gender, vulnerability, gender, children, aged. That sentence is like that, taking into account the gender perspective, children, in all chapters. In Dharma, we also put the incapacity building, which was a great victory for us. That put the capacity building that must be desirable and women must be there. So objective was that integrate gender prosperity into policy decision making in order to ensure the full implementation of UN mandates and agreement of gender equality. Build capacity at global, regional, national, local level to design and implement gender response. Climate change policies, strategies, programs. In all sectors, we want to see the gender equality. In financing board, in green fund board, you know that in Cancun agreement we have built several, financial board there. The one is green fund board. Bangladesh has taken a lead that time for this finance board, and there we also include that in the board there should be gender equality, and it is also in there. Ensure that climate change finance mechanism equitably address the needs of poor women and men. Establish a network for learning, knowledge exchange, and advocacy on gender and climate change. Now I will show you the sum picture. You see that in Kyoto Protocol, it is a legally binding agreement. You should be this time in Durban. We are fighting for that. In last 2 nights, after the meeting, we have to finish our meeting, but we have to stay another 2 days. On 11th, we then agreed to it is for agreement from extension from 2015. Here you see the Nancy Fanos. You can see that lady, American lady. She joined the gender meeting in Cancun because they are so committed. This is speaker of US, and she addressed them that in all chapter in the negotiation should be gender sensitive. And this is the GCC team who are doing the advocacy. We submitted, this is the team. We are also working with this team. We always give the submission. This time we submitted for next June, May meeting. May another UNFCCC climate change talk meeting will start again. And there we already submitted to include gender 8 submission we have already made from this GCC team and our WDF Women Delegate Fund team and many other women alliance team. So there is all this chapter, shared vision. We have the women now in this gender perspective in this chapter, in fairness, in adaptation, in mitigation, in capacity building, technology transfer, RED Plus, Nairobi Art Program, New Delhi Art Program. Nairobi Art Program is a very important program. It is for the capacity building. I'm working with this Nairobi Art Program. I was working. And it is really, really true sense for the development of women in this program. This is a workshop, training, and New Delhi Work Program. It is Article 6 of the Convention. This is for capacity building of the women. For many other people, including the media also. So, in what's happened in our case, we have found a lot of people joined, a lot of journalists joined in the negotiation meeting in our country, in COP15, COP16, COP17. There is a little women journalists there. So if they are there, they can focus the women vulnerability and women issues. But when Bangladesh government, when I submit something, I have to take the permission from our head of the delegate that Bangladesh want to support these issues about the women. Sometimes, I feel embarrassed because everybody laughed at me. Oh, you are really educated women, why you ask about gender? So they laughed at me. So, but we have to do it because we know the reality. This is not the issue of women. This is the issue of whole livelihood of the society. Because our 80% people are living in the vulnerable areas. They are farmers. The farming system totally different. I am feeling proud that I am a farmer. My designation is actually a farmer. And I'm working with a farming lady in a remote village of Nilphamari. And I've seen that how the people, women, are involved in all type of farming. So our recommendation is the UNFCCC process include gender language within the UNFCCC negotiation process. In every chapter, we have the constituency of women constituency. In every meeting, we have 2 times can intervene from the gender constituency. There is a constituency for young, for farmers, for children, for business community, for industrials, different. But also we have the constituency for the women. They can speak from the beginning and from the end. Establish entity that can coordinate the various funding mechanisms, increase the participation of women in climate negotiation, increase awareness through training at all levels, advocate all program funds include gender criteria from the design through evolution stages, include gender focal points in each of the funds. আমরা বারবার বলছি যে প্রত্যেকটা ফান্ডে বাংলাদেশ ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জ ট্রাস্ট ফাইন্যান্স, you know that. We have the numbers, we have the BCSP, you know that, Bangladesh Strategy Action, Climate Change Strategy Action Plan. that there is no gender focal point. They have given a fund to the women ministry for Butlakhali matters to adaptation for the women, but nobody knows it. When I searching that any fund for the women, then I found there is one fund. It is in women ministry, given to the women ministry, but there is no focal point in any ministry for that. So we already asked the Bangladesh government, our climate change focal point is our environment ministry. We asked them to have a one focal point for women or gender. Increase women access to clean development mechanism. Ensure that the issue of property rights is taken into consideration. There is an intellectual property right. Women are the conserver. Women have a lot of knowledge, traditional knowledge. So we need that property rights. They access new technology that will affect women and look for entry points to ensure that women are involved in the technology design process. Avoid using the language of vulnerable groups. We want to use that in women as a mainstream, not as a vulnerable groups. Always vulnerable. I always criticize our women ministry, women and children ministry. You see, we are treated as the children. Women and children ministry. We want to be a mainstream gender. You see, here is the international women. We are all working together to ensure the women participation and women rights in every part of the climate change, from the local level to national, international, in every grassroots level. Last time you can see that by helping women to survive in their everyday lives, we can promote the overall goals of sustainable development. Women also have a vital role to play in mitigation of climate change. Women must be involved at all levels, internationally, nationally, locally. This is our agenda, and this is the whole international women we are working. This is the part of one group we are working together. And this is usually the Finland president. She is a woman. She developed a fund. It is called the WDF Fund, Women Delegate Fund. And she met every woman in every COP meeting. And she is, working so hard for involvement of women in climate change arena and creating projects in Liberia. She made a lot of projects in Liberia, and she also worked with her government. Finland government also work with IUCN. IUCN is now developing national strategy for climate change action plan for women, for gender. There is a fund for 7 countries. 5 countries already had done, and Nepal is now, they are doing it. Last 7 February they started it, and I applied for this last June to our focal point to give it just a letter, nothing else. Just a letter to the IUCN, to Lorena, to have it just come here to make one strategy action plan for the women. Then we can sell it like our climate change strategy action plan. But till now, it is not working. Just give a letter. I gave all these documents and even the drafting of the letter, and it is not happened yet. But the fund is ready. Everything is ready. For 35 people, they will have a workshop, and then they'll learn, and so they will make one strategy action plan for the climate change and gender issue. I hope it will be, because last 15 days I couldn't communicate anybody. I also told our minister to intervene in these things, to give a letter to have one strategy action plan for them. And this is Wangari Maathai, who died, but it is in Cancun. And you see, I am only single woman in negotiation process in Bangladesh. And this is my just last slide. I am airing the women in grassroots level about the climate change. You see, this time in Nilphamari area, this is just picture in 26. It is in English because I have to show it to our international people. Forgive me for this, What happened? There is a lead blight disease happened in potato. Somebody they told about the water. I have a lot of issues about water, but I'm just last year what happened, just 2 months before, what happened regarding climate change, There is too cold, you have observed, you have already experienced the too cold in December. That's not happened in the very sunny days. And there is a lead blight disease in potato. The potato leaf become diseased because of too cold, fungal disease. It happened in 1840s, which caused the Irish famine. This happened in Bangladesh, 1994 and 2004 again, but not much. But this time it is severely affected in West Bengal and the northwestern region of Bangladesh. And the potato, last time you have seen that in the paper, a lot of potato in the street, no potato. But this time, no potato. And the whole Nilphamari, Rampur, Dinajpur, Panchagod, Bogura, all regions potato are gone. The size. We are not exporting this time the potato because I am also exporter of potato. So these women are suffered for that. These women are, this is the Monga area. Now they started to cultivate potato and they have the job in cold storage job and everything. But this time the potato is not going to the cold storage because the less amount of potato. So they lose their job also. This is how the climate change, agriculture and livelihood reflected. And I started on these issues and I recently I'm starting in the international forum and it is also accepted for this presentation for this. And another issue, last issues, I just that time the current electricity has gone and make the enemy. What happened? When I was in Bonn, first time in 2009, I found there is a lot of issues in the table, but no one talking about the disability. Nobody. In Bangladesh, there is a 10% disabled people is here, and it is a UN Convention on Disability. And I have been experienced to work with disabled people in Bangladesh, and I am also in some sort of disabled because I had an accident and my disc is not working. So I have a lot of